I'm so glad it is a Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I am here from my desk wanting to give you some awesome advice around test prep. Now, we've been doing this 7-day challenge. It's been unbelievable, the response. We've been getting hundreds of likes every day. We've been so excited. There have been so many people that have been logging onto our videos. We've had over 1,500 people watching our Facebook Live videos. So it has been an amazing 7-day challenge on getting into your dream college. Now, today I'm going to be talking about test prep, the whole concept of the SAT versus ACT. I'll be kind of boiling it down for you about what the new SAT looked like, which was started almost a year ago. I can't believe it's been a solid year since we switched over to the new SAT. But what I want to first start is let you know, I'm Neha, I am founder of College Shortcuts, and my life mission is to help students get into the college of their dreams and to help students find their passion. So if you're new here, we want to welcome you obviously to our 7-day challenge. It has been such a wonderful experience getting to share my knowledge and information around the entire college admissions process to reduce as much stress as I can for parents around the world. Now, if you're just tuning in, remember to like I said, like our page, and also make sure to like this video and say hello. I always say hi to everyone that comments, so say hi, it always means a lot. And this is, the place where I exclusively give some of my tips and tricks around the college process, around things like test prep, around things like the essay, college visits, and so much more. And I'm super excited to have each and every one of you here. This is our 3rd day of the challenge, which is awesome. Now, what I would love to do first is to say hello to everyone. So if you can go ahead and like, or of course the heart button, as you know, I love that too. I always love hearts. So if you can go ahead and like or give me a heart, let me know that you are there and listening. That way I can get a sense. And then also, if you can go ahead and tell me, today we're going to be talking about test prep. And one of the biggest things about test prep is, what is your child doing? So if you can go ahead and comment below right now. Hi, Nikia. Hello from Maryland. Nice to see you. So sometimes the comments take a little time to load up with my Wi-Fi because we've got so many people on. But if you can tell me, what you're doing right now around the test prep process, and tell me how you're taking action. Is your child taking a class? Are they in school learning about the test? Do they have one-on-one coaching? Are they doing an online program? There's a huge difference between people that say they want to do things and actually take action. Now, if you're not in this process yet of test prep, you may think this is not relevant, but hearing from other moms and dads to hear where they're at can help you reverse engineer and understand where people are at. So go ahead and say some comments. Let me know. Okay, let's take a look here. All right. Okay, so we've got, hi, Sima. I see you are doing private tutoring, which is awesome. Okay, Jerry, good to see you. Hi, Susanna. Good morning from Washington. Yes, awesome. Okay, nice to see each and every one of you. As you can see, I'm a little sweaty today. Sorry, but you know how it can be, trying to get food handled and get your workout in and try to get work done. I mean, sometimes it's a nonstop day in my world. I'm sure you parents understand that when you're trying to do a ton of different things at once. Looks like my computer's trying to talk to me. Okay, anyways, so let's see. Okay, Nikia says, I currently have an 8th grader. We're studying vocab and math for the PSAT. Okay, great. So as you can see, people are taking action, and I love that. Usually the parents that are listening to us are taking action and getting involved. Now, one of the things that, I want to talk about here is to understand what are the differences between the different ways of studying, the benefits, and possibly the pros and cons around it. Now, what I want to start with here is that, you can really learn from other moms. And there's a big difference, just so you know, between a student who has prepped or studied for the test versus a student that hasn't. And I will tell you, it's the exception when a student says, I only studied for a week and I got a 34 on the ACT, or I barely cracked open an SAT book and I got a perfect score. You tell me, when was the last time that you heard that? So there's a huge difference between students that get prepped and the ones that just decide to show up for the test and try it out. I see here Sima has a sophomore taking the ACT for the first time. So yeah, absolutely. There are a lot of test dates coming up, and I wanted to go through those so you guys understand. The last day to register for a lot of these tests are 4 to 5 weeks ahead. So you as a parent have got to be on top of the deadline. And as you know, I am that planner kid that loves to have everything planned. I put in all the dates in there. I make sure I know. I'm not even taking the test, but for all my kids, we make sure we know exactly when these are so that we can plan ahead. So I'm just telling you, super important to go ahead and put those dates in. And I'm huge on, planners, and I have 3 practically that I use. So you want to make sure you know the dates. So I'm going to go over the different dates of the tests coming up. February 11th is ACT. I don't think you can register for that anymore. There might be some late registration, but honestly, it was in January. In March, the SAT is on March 11th. That typically is the week before spring break, but we all know how much kids love that. April 8th is the next ACT. May 6th is the next SAT. That's right before finals, so keep that in mind. And I always like to lay this out so you guys can understand the different dates according to the academic calendar as well, because you need to know what your kid's handling academically with this on top of it, because it is an additional thing. And if you haven't gone to College Shortcuts Facebook page and downloaded my College Dream Map, I recommend you do that now, no matter what grade your kid is in, because so many times people will say, oh, I don't know what's when, and et cetera, but we need to make sure that you know when these are. So this is a big thing for you to know and to understand that it's so important to make sure that you have your dates down, and you also have my dream map. So can you comment right now and tell me if you have downloaded the PDF, the free downloadable PDF? Go ahead and say yes or no. I'm just going to look one thing up real quick. All right, so let's take a look here. Now, I see we have some awesome questions coming through. Saima is saying, ACT test question, do you feel the writing portion is optional or not? So yes, Saima, the writing portion is optional, but there are also some schools that do require it. So you do want to keep that in mind. There's a lot of schools that will ask you for the ACT writing portion, but not all of them do. So you're going to want to Google that and take a look and see all the schools that actually do ask for it. But it is optional, so a lot of times it's not required. So it just depends. Nikia, so glad you downloaded it. Saima, you said you haven't downloaded it. I really want you to download it. It's a really good little checklist I made for you guys, it's just awesome. So, okay, perfect. All right, now, let's keep going. The big difference between students that prep versus don't prep. Huge difference. Let me tell you the 3 different ways students typically prep. So we've got some people with 8th graders on the line, younger, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Listen to this. Number 1, the first way that most, and I'm going to go from lowest budget to highest budget because that's the easiest way to do it. Now, I was at South by Southwest Education in the last few months. This is a conference that all the top experts in education attend globally to this specific event. And I was sitting with the College Board, Khan Academy, all of them, and Khan Academy came out with an online program that helps to prep for test prep that is free online. So students can actually go online and do Khan Academy and practice problems. Now, here's some pros to it. Number 1, it costs this much to do it, $0. And it's online, which means you can do it whenever you want, however you want, at any hour, at any time of day. The second pro about it is, based on the way your child answers the questions, it will ask certain questions following up to make sure that your child is getting that concept. So it's adaptive learning is kind of the way to say that, where it adapts to what your kid needs. Now, as you guys know, if you're on my email newsletter, I love chai, so I'm drinking some tea today. So I don't lose my voice while I talk. And if you guys have not gone to College Shortcuts and signed up for the newsletter, you want to do that. We just sent an awesome email out about how to tweet your way into college. So go to collegeshortcuts.com. Right at the top it says admissions made easy. There's a little thing, just put in 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th, wherever your kid is at, and go ahead and sign up for our newsletter. It will change your life. Okay, so Khan Academy is the #1 easy way to start test prep, okay? Then there's the second level up. The second level up specifically is going to a actual location and taking a class with other people, typically of which is 3 hours long. Oh, let me go back to Khan Academy. So I told you the pros, but let me tell you the cons. Number one, cons to Khan Academy is that you really need to make sure and understand that your kid has to be self-driven to want to complete that every single time they do it. So setting aside an hour a day, and they absolutely do it with their full conviction and know what's happening. The second thing that's a con about it is they may not understand a concept, and they actually need someone to teach it to them, so they just keep missing the problem, and then they're not sure. And the third thing is it's very self-directed, and we all know how teenagers are, right? We all know. So sometimes that can be super challenging. And Susanna's asking a wonderful question. How do you spell Khan Academy? I'm going to spell it out for you. I hope this doesn't show up backwards. I think it will, but it's Khan. And it's backwards. Gotta love it. Anyways, Khan Academy, that's how you do it. It's an online course, it's free, and it provides a lot of problems for you to test out. The second way that you can do test prep specifically is you go to a class. So you'll go to a center, you'll sign up your kid for a certain amount of time each week to go there. Typically these classes are a very long time. Did I spell Khan Academy wrong? Sorry guys, Nikki is saying K-A-H-N. Sorry guys, obviously you can tell I'm not using that specifically. I run a tutoring company, but let's get to it. So you send your kid to a place where they're in a group class setting with other students for long periods of time. Now here are the pros about it. A lot of these places have figured out how to game the test, meaning they have found ways to give tips and tricks to really get your kid an increase in their score. And a lot of times what they'll do is they'll say they can give a guaranteed score. So what they'll do is they'll hand your kid a test prior to starting the course, and it could be one of the hardest SAT or ACTs, and they take it and they get, let's say, like a 900. They take the course, and at the end they do a final test, and it's not the same test. And you can ask them. Usually it's not the same test. There'll be an easier one, and then your kid gets like a 1100, 1200, and you're like, wow, it's a 300-point increase. I'm telling you this as an educational expert, as someone who's been through these courses myself when I was a teenager. You know, I'm a little old, so we didn't have Khan Academy. We didn't have online learning at all. So this was the second option that was budget friendly for my parents. Typically these courses run 400 to 900-ish, 800, and they're 3 hours long. So usually halfway through or an hour in, this is your kid. They're like, right? Or some kid is asking a question that's irrelevant to them, and they're just getting really frustrated. So these are some cons around these classes. It's a group dynamic, and sometimes it can be a lot for your kid who is trying to get the best score, but is just focused on gaming and learning tricks and this and that, and not really focusing on what their specific skill set is. The third way people do test prep is specifically that one-on-one coaching. And let me explain to you why it's different when you do one-on-one coaching. One-on-one coaching is where your child gets full-on undivided attention with someone who's scored in the 99th percentile. Now, I own Elite Private Tutors. I am very particular about who we hire. Our coaches do extremely well on the ACT and SAT, and they coach tons of students where they can literally help them one-on-one. And in the last year, we have now expanded globally to help students through Skype, which is amazing. So we ship the books to students, and we literally get a coach facing them right across the screen going, hey, page 34, what are you doing about analogies on this page, reading comp, etc. And right now we're at 85% capacity for this entire school year for test prep. So if that's something you're wanting to look into, you should go to eliteprivatetutors.com. We only have 15 coaches max on my team per year. That's how particular I am. And we've got a few slots left for people that really want that one-on-one coaching. Now, the pros about one-on-one coaching specifically, and if you think about it, for example, it's like having a personal trainer versus going to an Orange Theory class where you could be doing, throwing up a sandbag and then you catch it the wrong way and you literally can feel it. This happened to me last week. I had to get a massage because I had caught a thing behind me. Teacher didn't even notice, and I couldn't work out for 2 days. As you can see, I'm back to normal, hot, sweaty, ugh. But let me tell you, having a personal trainer or having someone right there by your side holding you accountable, telling you how you need to do things, correcting you, cheering you on, that's the pro side of having a one-on-one coach. Now, I see Nikki is asking, what is the average cost of one-on-one coaching with elite private tutors? It ranges from $99 per hour to $149 per hour. Just like a personal trainer, some personal trainers are upwards of $250. We've also seen a lot of other companies for one-on-one coaching that are upwards of $250 to $500 an hour. For me, I like to keep it at a little more of a reasonable price here. And our goal one-on-one is to say, okay, how do we help the student really excel at their skills, really excel at what their levels are, really make sure that they are learning what they need to learn and finding a love of learning. See, the SAT and ACT cover things they're already studying in school, but there's stuff that they may have missed at school. So our goal is to help the student not just game the test, not just do a one-hit wonder. It's about understanding how to learn and how to express that through an exam. So that's the difference between the three different ways when you look at the one-on-one coaching to the online classes to all of that information. And you want to make sure that you're doing that. Now, what I want to do is, I know everyone says they're going to do something about test prep or they'll get it done. But what I would like to ask each and every one of you is, instead of being one of those people that just says they're going to do something, I would love for you to write right now in the comments what your plan of action is. After hearing about the three, which one you feel might be a good fit for your child. Just say, you know what, I'm going to be looking into this in 2 years, this in the next month, etc. Let's write our goals out. It's January, guys. So go ahead, write a comment. I would love to see what your plans are for the entire process. Now, I know some moms, I know Simon's saying Kaplan is very expensive. I will tell you, as a teenager, I did Kaplan, I did Princeton Review, I did Test Masters, you name it. I was studying non-stop for this test for a solid year. And I will say that, yes, it is expensive. But if you think about the whole test prep concept, what are the 4 factors? That's 8. Oops. 4. What are the 4 factors when it comes to a college application? Because, again, I love to reverse engineer why this is important. The 4 things they look at is GPA, academic capability, in order for your child to be in the right fit. The second thing is test scores specifically, and the SAT or ACT. The third are extracurriculars and your resume, and the fourth is essays. So this is 25% of chances of getting into a college. And this is something you can actually control as a parent. I know that sounds crazy, but you get to choose this little factor. Now, you also get to choose kids' GPA depending on what type of school you send them to, right? Test prep's the same way. You get to choose, with the amount of time your kid has, which we all know is limited, how much time you can literally do for this test and how much time you want to invest in it. And I know that with our one-on-one program, it's incredible. We're at 85% capacity. We can probably take on a few more students at this point globally. But we really feel that our packages and our sessions have helped students incredibly with the test. And so if you're needing any help, go ahead and jump in, go ahead and PM me, meaning private message our College Shortcuts page, say, Neha, looking for test prep, my kid's in this grade, whatever. I will make sure this is easy for you. Crystal's asking a wonderful question. Hi, Crystal. I'm gonna like all your comments, guys. You're so sweet. I love it. Love it. All right, Crystal saying, what do you think of test prep books? Crystal, test prep books are awesome. I mean, books are what are used to prep for this test. So absolutely, Crystal, we use books ourselves. I mean, we literally, like when we do one-on-one coaching, a parent calls us, say, hey, I want one-on-one coaching for the SAT or ACT. We say, great, when are they taking the test? And then we backdate how much time they have available, which package will work for them, and then we send over the books. And then we have a curriculum and books, and they cover it, and they go over everything from step by step, assigning the right amount of homework per kid. Jerry's saying, what is the last date your high school student can take an SAT their senior year? So Susanna, sorry, Jerry and Susanna are the same. It's 2 names. So Susanna, the thing about it is, you've got to figure out what your kid is doing in terms of applications. A lot of schools' applications were January 1st. So you really want to be taking the test prior to any deadline. Now, there are some colleges that people are still applying to all the way through April. Sayama says, private coaching helps my son with test-taking strategies. It absolutely does. Having any coach or mentor one-on-one will help you see past your fear, see what your blocks are, what your beliefs are, and shift those. So that's huge. Ooh, we got a like. Like. I love like. Oh my gosh, they always make me happy. Okay. All right, next. Let's talk about the new SAT. Now, I'm kind of excited to tell you something because I haven't really shown this. So last year, March, this is the Houston Chronicle. It's the #1 newspaper in Houston. Notice the president's here. Guess where we are? Above the president! Look! Isn't this so cool? Yes, this was an article where we got featured. Nervous students prepare to take the new SAT. No joke. We got featured on the front page. My mom was super proud. She was like, what? I was like, yeah, I know, Mom. I know you're proud. So it's kind of exciting. Now, what I want to talk about is the new SAT. It was redesigned last year, and a lot of parents don't even know that it changed. I mean, this is the crazy part. This was March of last year, but you know, I eat, sleep, and breathe all this stuff, so as an expert, I love like when things happen. Now, scoring went from 2,400 back to a 1,600. A lot of parents on the line remember the test always being a 1,600, but it went back. And now reading and writing are combined at 800 plus the 800 in math. And here's a big one. The new SAT does not give you penalties. Before, it was 1/4 of a point if you started to guess answers and get them wrong. So every time, let's say your kid didn't finish a section, they put like C, 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 C at the end, they would get a 4th off for every single point. Now, they can just guess as much as they want and no penalty, which is awesome. By the way, that they match that up against the ACT because the ACT does that. Now there's an option to do it via paper or computer, which is huge. And just so you know, the essay is optional. So the essay is 50 minutes to analyze a 650-word document, but now it's optional. And I hope you guys are writing notes. Just so you know, I know this is a lot of information. Write down the notes about the 3 different ways for test prep that you can do. And if you want to take notes right now, this is a great time that I'm teaching you guys some things about this test. This test is shortened down to 3 hours like it was back in the day when I took it. Can you believe it? Students were taking a test for 3 hours and 50 minutes? Ugh, that's exhausting. So it's shortened down. Multiple choice problems went from A, B, C, D, and E to just A, B, C, D. And no, I'm not talking about American-born confused daisies, which I get called all the time. I'm talking about 4 options instead of 5, which means when your kid's sitting there like, I don't know which one, I don't know, they only have to choose between 4 instead of 5, which is awesome. And another thing to know is they have added some extra content of tables and charts specifically. And it's sort of similar to the ACT science, but not really. There's also math sections where you have one with calculator and one without a calculator, so your kid better understand how to use math without a calculator. And just so you know, the overall anatomy of this test, the English section has 65 minutes of reading, 35 minutes of language and writing. The math section has 55 minutes with the calculator and 25 minutes without the calculator. Now, I'm going to read from this for a second so you guys can hear from other families and students about specifically the entire experience of test prep. I know, you're like, a newspaper? Who reads the newspaper? The newspaper is a pretty good place to get actually accurate news, right? So one of the big things is, you know, so many people are really trying to decide between the SAT and ACT, and that can be super challenging. You know, but one of the biggest things is, let's take a look here. Francie Willis of Houston opted to have a tutor come to the house and just get it done for their grandson. He took the old version last year, but he really wants to understand the new one. You know, it's a big deal to have a new one. And the biggest thing was, you know, if you're a slow text taker, you can start bubbling things and not feeling stressed about the penalization. A lot of students are now getting coaching around the new test because it's completely different. Now, a lot of people will say, should we do the SAT versus ACT? If anyone has, and I would love to hear from you, if anyone has confusion on taking the SAT versus the ACT for their kid, go ahead and type it right now into the comments before I get started. Let me know which one you think your kid should take versus if you know or don't know. So go ahead and type that. I know it'll take a second for the comments to show up. As that's happening, I have a little bit of tea. My tea is cold. Anyone struggle with that? You don't make tea gets cold, but that's okay. You know what? Maybe I should need to add a little ice to it. Okay, so let's see here. I'm not seeing any comments come through. Are you guys commenting? Go ahead and like the video. Put a little heart. That's a half heart. I need your other half to make it a full heart. Okay, so not hearing yet. Maybe it's taking a little while. I'm going to keep going. So SAT versus ACT. Ooh, Sharon Fox said SAT. Okay, very cool. Got a like. Oh my gosh, I love it. Guys, it makes a big difference if you like our videos. That's why I keep asking. Because if you like them a bunch, we have more engagement, which means more moms see it later on in the day. So the more you like it, the more you heart it, it like spreads all over Facebook, which is cool. And if you know any kid, just so you know, any mom or dad that's like, oh, I don't know about this SAT, ACT thing, go ahead and type or tag them in this post, which would be awesome. Okay. Now, Crystal says, my daughter decided to take both. Ooh, let's talk about this. So, I got a heart. Yay! Okay, so SAT versus ACT. Now, one of the biggest things that people don't realize is that they're completely different tests. And usually a student will opt for one a lot heavier than the next. Now, when you say, Nikia is saying the same thing, plan to take both SAT and ACT, I will tell you a little secret. We offer packages from 25, 35, and 45-hour coaching. And I've had parents sign up for 90 hours of tutoring. Now, wow, that works great for my business, right? 90 hours of tutoring at that rate, that's great. But let me tell you what I'm focused on. What's right for your kid? Not what makes sense for my business. Because my business is to make sure we do the right things for children so they get the most efficient use of their time outside of school to get ready for this test. And the biggest waste, just so you know, is if your kid preps for both. And I'm going to say it. I know a lot of people won't say it. A lot of owners will be like, oh, take both tests, study a bunch, take a bunch of tutoring hours. No, I don't want to exhaust your kid. Let me tell you how you can easily choose between both tests. Have your kid take a diagnostic of one test and another test and see how they feel about it. Usually a kid will have an inclination. Now, if your kid is more math and science geared, meaning their brain thinks more in formulas or they tend to excel in those classes, you are going to see that they enjoy the ACT. I know, Nikia, you're not prepping for it at the same time, but I am telling you right now, you can really wipe out a kid if you do both. But that's just me. I'm just giving you my advice of what I've seen over the last 12 years with students trying to do both. You can do what you want. I'm just here to give you the answers that I believe you should know around the entire experience of test prep. Now, I understand you might want to take one or the other, but I'm trying to explain to you that a student can mess up their test-taking strategies for one test versus another because they're switching back and forth. Like I told you earlier, the ACTs in February, the SATs in March, the ACTs in April, the SATs in May. I mean, they do this for a reason to space it out, guys. You don't want to be having your kid go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, trying to get the test. I'm telling you. I just know it. I see it over and over where they get really confused. So, number one, write this down. Take a diagnostic, find out, and you will know very quickly, your kid will know very quickly which test works for them. From there, then create your action plan on which test your kid wants to take. And like I said earlier, how do you pick between the two? I have never really, no. Let me try this again. When there's I've experienced some genius kids where they can do well on both tests, but there's always one they're always geared slightly more for. So you want to make sure you figure out which one that is and then hone in on that. Hone in. Okay, let me tell you an example. It's like going to one gym to do strength training and then another day doing walking somewhere else and then another day doing something else and trying to get the same result but doing 50 things to do it. It doesn't make sense. Pick the test and move forward. And I know I'm giving a little hard stance. Nikia, I think you should do what you want. I'm just telling you guys, Crystal as well, I'm just giving you my view on what I've seen over the last few years of how you can burn a kid out while they're in their junior or sophomore year or possibly senior year. So I will tell you, I took the SAT and I took the ACT and I was like, ugh, to the ACT. And I was all honors AP. I was making A's in all my classes. You would think, oh, math and science, but that science section threw me for a loop. I was like, what is this? So again, your kid will know. It's like an innate thing, okay? So I hope you've learned today. We've talked about what your kids are needing in terms of test prep and why it's important to prep for this exam. And I will say one more thing. It's so important that you understand that test prep can be dependent on what the school teaches. So if your kid's at a school and they're not focusing on a lot of that stuff, that's why they need outside prep. Nikia says, my son is a genius and his mother is crazy. I appreciate the feedback. Nikia, no worries. I got a lot of genius moms, genius kids. I get it. Totally get it. Just want to give you feedback to make your life easier because my goal is to make as many moms' lives easy as possible and not be stressed. The second thing we covered today was about the SAT versus ACT. I also told you about the new SAT and how we got featured, woohoo, in the Houston Chronicle above the president. Yeah, so huge. And giving you information about the different test dates and the 3 different ways that people do test prep. Now, I'm going to open it up for Q&A right now for the next 5 minutes. So if anyone has a question, or if you like this video, please send me a heart or a like. If you're looking for one-on-one coaching, we've got it for this test prep. And the reason I did an entire day on the importance of test prep is because it's 25% of your college application, right? Your kid has got to do well. Ooh, we got some hearts in the house. Oh, I love it. I wish it would tell me who's sending the heart. I just get hearts and I don't know who's sending them. So go ahead and comment below too. Now, if you have any questions, go ahead and type them below. I'm going to go ahead and answer them. We've got a lot of people on the line, so go ahead and type them. I just want to make sure that we do it. One of the biggest things I'll tell you about test prep, guys, it is all about doing it in chunks. There's companies out there that talk about cramming for tests and all that. I am not a believer in cramming. For example, right now I'm on my life mission of trying to lose 20 pounds because of my health numbers, etc. It's my goal. And I'm trying to tell you, I can't lose 25 pounds in like a week. It's just not going to happen. I mean, I did a juice cleanse this week. I stopped today because I was really hungry yesterday after our video. And it takes a lot for us to get out there and like get on video and have everything ready. It takes a lot energetically for me. So not eating was really hard and just doing juice. But what I'm trying to explain to you, why is this important? Why is this related? It's because so many times people think, oh, I can make a perfect score, I can make a top score, and I can just study a few weeks before, or just get acclimated to a test, or maybe do it for 2 hours a week. And that's not how you drive results in anything in life. I am here to provide the shortcut, what the strategy is, to coach and be a consultant and help students create a plan of action, that shortcut of knowing what they need to do. But you got to still put the work in. The shortcut's not there for you to just take advantage of it and just assume, okay, I know what I need to do, and that's the shortcut. It's about actually doing the work. It's doing the work, and it's diligence, and it's consistency. That is all any goal is. That's it. All right, here we go. We got some great ones. Carrie Dodson. Hello, Carrie. Nice to see you. Which test is more important, the SAT or ACT? Great question. There's not one test that's more important than the other. Colleges look at both of them equally. Now, there may be rumors out there where they're like, oh, this college likes this test more. That's not accurate, guys. They have both for a reason. The College Board makes both for the different types of brains that students have. I guess we all have the same brain, but the different way your kid's brain works is what I'm trying to say. So one is not more important than the other. Susanna, are your coaches trained to work with children that have dyslexia or ADD disabilities that affect test taking and allow them to have accommodations? Oh, amazing question. So about 65% of our clients have a learning disability, just so you know. That's why tutoring exists in a lot of ways. I mean, tutoring exists for a lot of reasons. We have some families that say, you know what, Neha, I noticed my kid has a spark towards the subject and I want to be supplemental and enrichment. How do I get a tutor on just to enrich more? Maybe they can go over cool math projects together. Maybe you can hook them up with a math major and get them farther ahead in their schoolwork. That's one reason a lot of people do tutoring. We help students love to learn, because if you're anyone in this world, you know that the love to learn is the best skill to have, because you become a better you all day long because you're wanting to learn. So that's one way of doing it. The second way is we help students that, need a little extra support. We're not all perfect, guys. I mean, I'll tell you, for example, you get me at a gym, I'll just walk on the treadmill 2 miles an hour and be like, oh, I worked out today, yay. No. That wasn't a workout. Actually, I totally wasted my time. Not that 2 miles is, 2 miles is a glacial pace for my age, okay? I could be going faster. So that's why I then have a coach that helps me train. Same thing here. We've got coaches that absolutely help even with learning disabilities because, man, those kids need extra loving. Aj says, I'm sending you hearts. Awesome. How soon can you get a kid prep for ACT, SAT? My daughter is a sophomore, wants to take up nursing in college. Wow, I just helped a student get into nursing when we were doing college consulting last year. She's at the UT nursing program, super excited about it, just has a passion for it. And we helped her build her resume and everything. So we can get someone as early as what? Today's Wednesday? We can get books shipped out. We could get started as early as weekend. Literally, as early as weekend. So you can start prepping now. The more practice, the better. I will say one big mistake parents make. And this one, by the way, this sometimes is caused by college counselors, because I heard a college counselor say this. How do I say this nicely? The SAT or ACT, do not take it senior year. For all the parents out there that have sophomores and juniors, start now. Let me tell you why. Academically, the coursework is easy. Second, people are starting to make their application deadlines July of junior summer. So you need to get those tests in now. This whole thing about let me take the SAT or SAT September, October, November of senior year and turn it in later makes no sense, okay? So you're gonna wanna get prepped now, guys. It's a big deal to get started ASAP. So I hope you enjoyed our third day of our challenge. This is Neha reporting live from my desk. I am so glad to have every one of you on. And if you have not taken the time to think about this, this is one of the most important parts of my 7-day Dream College Challenge, because test scores are still there. They're not going anywhere. And you want to make sure your kid is ready for the SAT, for the ACT, and for the PSAT. Because let me tell you, being a National Merit Scholar is awesome. And you can prep for that. You can totally prep for that. And I want to thank all of you for liking and sending hearts. You know, it makes me want to do more of what I do. And if you ever have questions, please send me a message, because we have coaches, we have ways to help serve every family and to make your life easier as a parent. That is my goal, is to help students find their passion, to make sure that they know what they want to do in life, to make sure that they are lifelong learners and they have a mentor by their side cheering them on. So thank you so much for joining in on day 3 of our 7-day challenge. And please go ahead and tag a friend, tag a parent that you know could absolutely learn one nugget. Again, sharing is caring. It's the cardinal rule of kindergarten. So please go ahead and do it. And Nikia, you are so welcome. I am so glad that you loved it. I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. Let me see what my plan for tomorrow is. Yes, I am that handwriting kid that writes everything out. Tomorrow we'll be talking about college lists and visits and how to handle them, and talking about your spring break plans, because we all know you're not going to Mexico. You're going to go to a college campus. So, hope you're having an awesome, awesome Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody! And go ahead, comment below. Let me know what your plan of action is. See, you can say you want to do something, but if you're not getting up there and doing it, being consistent and helping your kid move forward, then we're just using words to get to our dreams. And we all know, you want to get to your dreams, you got to take action. Have an awesome Wednesday. Mwah! I love each and every one of you. Heart this, like this. The more you do it, the more Facebook loves us. And I'll do more of these. Okay? Bye.